off our May nicely by heading out. Always important to use your car as best as you can. And stop at the stop sign. Turn right. Okay, right. Why is she telling me to turn right? Trust me, Google Maps giving you the wrong direction or just generally sending you into a rice field is the least of your worries when driving in Japan. The first part is actually being allowed to drive legally in Japan. Hello world! Welcome back to Cam's Universe. I'm Camille Marks Kelly, the beautiful one, and thank you for coming to watch this episode. Okay, let's start! You can legally drive in Japan with your international driver's license permit and your country's license for 12 continuous months once you land in Japan. Or when your IDP expires, whichever is first. However, you can get your license transferred to a Japanese license, Geimen Kirike, if you fall into one of two categories. Category 1, those blessed by the kami, United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. You can check the description for the full list. But then we have category 2, those stalked by the Shinigami. The majority of us, the Americans, Jamaicans, South Africans, Chinese, Brazilians, also check the description for the full list. The rest of us have a testy procedure that we have to go through. Anyways, today's episode in Trapped in Japan, we focus on transferring your country's license to a Japanese license for the majority of us. I will also be giving you some Kelly Sensei teaching moments. At the end, I will give you some of my personal tips to help you get through this whole process. Stay tuned. Transferring your country's license to a Japanese license is a 5-step process. Step 1, document submission. Step 2, aptitude test. Step 3, written test. Step 4, driving test. And step 5, you collect that pretty shiny card. Yeah. Step 1. The first step starts with calling the driver's license center in your prefecture. Your prefecture. Actually, it's your supervisor who calls, or at least a Japanese person. Teaching moment number 1. I had just shown up at my driver's license center for my prefecture. They did not like that. I further went to ask them to speak to my American friend who knew Japanese. They did not like that either. They actually straight up told me they'll only speak to a Japanese person. So don't do that. Start off with just the phone call. Anyways, by phone, they will tell your supervisor or Japanese friend all the documents that you need to fax to them. There are 6 documents total. First, your Japanese translation of your foreign driver's license. This is issued by the JAF, Japan Automobile Federation. Don't worry, you can get this by mail and their website is also in English. Second document, your Ju-min-hyou. It's your residence certificate and may actually be called something different based on which prefecture you're in. Make sure though that it states your country of origin, and that actually should be the same country as is written on your driver's license. Third, a copy of your current driver's license. Fourth, a copy of every single page in your passport that has been used, and your past passport if you also have that one. Every single page. Yes. I don't know why. 5. A copy of your residence card. And 6. Proof that you were in your country of origin for 3 months with your license prior to coming to Japan. Usually, your jet application documents will suffice well for this, and your supervisor will have an authenticated copy of this document. However, other documents may be used to prove that you were in your country of origin 3 months prior to coming to Japan, and in those 3 months you had your driver's license. Once they have received all 6 documents, they will review. There could be some bonus documents that you could send, like a copy of your international driver's license, but it's not needed. Or you may have to actually send a certificate showing the date of original issue of your driver's license if it isn't on your actual driver's license. After the review, then you can make an appointment to get to step 2, teaching moment. Your supervisor may have to call the center to remind them that you're waiting for an interview date. Step 2, the aptitude test. They generally refer to this as an interview, but it is really a test of your country's procedure for attaining a driver's license. Now, you show up at the center, usually in the afternoon, at the specified date and time with all the original documents that you had previously faxed, plus 1 or 2 pictures size 2.4 by 3 centimeters. And of course, someone who speaks Japanese. At this point, anyone will do. There are 2 parts to the aptitude test. First, you write it, then you say it. Part 1, the written section. At this point, they lock you in a room, take away your phone and everything, and they have you fill out a 2-sided form that is separated into 3 sections. At the top of that form, though, it asks you how much does it cost to actually get a driver's license in your country. It's really asking you for the price of the full process. You can quote it in US dollars or Japanese yen, depending on how you feel and if you can do the calculations in your head. Anyways, you move into the first section. The section 1 asks you things about how did you study for your driving exam? How did you prepare for the driving test? Where did you go? Did you go to a driving school? What did you study? Did they teach you road rules? Did they teach you how to drive? How long did you do this studying for? All those double H questions. Section 2 asks you how the test was done in your country. How did they check your health? Your eye checks, if they checked your hearing, if they asked other questions. The type of examiner that you had at your exam. Was it a police officer or just somebody who works at the driving center? The vehicle that was used, the size, the make, the transmission, and whether it was provided by the center or if you brought your own vehicle. How many times you had to actually do the driving test. There's actually only space for 2 times though, so think that through. The course that you took and exactly what skills were tested in your driving test. Section 3 asks you how you got that physical driving license. Was it at the same location? Was it sent in the mail? Did you have to go to a special office for it? And how long after the test did you have to wait to get that license? When you're finished, you go out of the room and you cry out, "Owarimashita!" And then they move into part 2. This is now where you say everything you have just written, but you say it now face to face to the actual examiner with your Japanese translating friend right by you. While they can actually ask you these questions in English because they really have the form there and they have practice with the question, they won't be able to fully understand your answers, and that's why you really need someone who speaks Japanese there with you if you don't speak Japanese yourself. Teaching moment. I would advise that you check up on your driving pass before going. I got my original license over 10 years ago. Trying to remember all those things was actually a little bit jarring. Secondly, be prepared to draw what was done in your driving test. Some things just weren't done in Japan that you did in your country. I personally had to draw a little hill to explain a hill start, as well as a T road intersection to explain a T-turn. That's how it is. You just want to be as clear as possible. Don't fuss about it. Just do your best. After the written and verbal parts of the aptitude test are complete, they lead you out to the waiting room. Then, if all is well, in about 20 to 30 minutes, they'll come out and say, "Okay, desu," and you make an appointment for step 3. Hello again. You are now at step 3, the written test. You arrive at the driving license center bright and early on your appointed date, and you carry all the papers from step 2, but this time before you do anything, you pay for the test. Yes. After you've paid for the test, then they bring you back to that nice little room and lock you in it. But don't worry, the test isn't hard at all, or should I say, it's not too hard. You get a nice little folder with 10 questions that even include pictures, and they are all true and false. You get your piece of paper to mark where you think it is, whether it's true or false, and you get pretty much an undisclosed amount of time to actually do the test. The test is actually not that bad, but don't underestimate it. You need 7 out of 10 correct in order to pass the test. And let's be fair, the English translation is not that good. However, I was told that the Japanese used in the original isn't that clear either. So I don't think they're really out to get you. But either ways, Japan does have signage and color linings on the roads that are slightly different than most countries. So it would be in your best interest to actually study up before you go for that test. A simple Google study should do enough though, so don't worry too hard. But after you've finished the test, you leave all your documents inside the room, you head out, you let them know that you're finished, and they escort you out to the waiting room. And then you wait. And wait. And second guess every single answer you gave. Did they mean this? Maybe I should have said that. Is that really false? But before it gets into that delirium of madness, they come out and they make a nice Maru sign and go, "Okay, desu," and you know that you have passed and you now qualify to move on to step 4. See you there. All right, wait. before you get in the car, right after you have passed your written test, you actually go to pay for the car insurance for the car that you'll be using for the driving test. That's followed by signing a paper saying you have never done anything bad related to driving. Then you do an eye test, followed by being told the driving course for the day. It changes every day. They give you a map with the route, and then the officer goes through the map with you, highlighting major points. This section is a major road. Drive at appropriate speed. This is an S-curve. This is a crank. Drive as slow as possible. This is a stop sign, etc. Then he gives you a driving test paper reminder checklist, telling you things like remember your seatbelt, check your mirrors, just general things like that. It's nice colored paper and it's written in Japanese and English. You're also told that you can walk the course during lunchtime to get you more familiar with how the signage looks and the distance between different points. Finally, he straight up tells you that you should have done a driving class before coming to do the test. Teaching moment. Quite a few people I know didn't do driving classes, and I personally only did one. But I can honestly say that I did benefit from it. Point of information. I did have someone who could speak Japanese with me during that lesson. Hence, I got the full experience and could understand everything that they wanted to teach me. Hello. Now we are at the driving stage. This is the part where all foreigners' confidence goes to die. It just goes out the window. It's just you and the examiner and however they were feeling that day. Ganbate! Honestly, we do our best, but it's really a fail test. You literally start with 100 and everything you do wrong, you lose points. So, gotta focus. Check that mirror. Check every mirror. Everyone. Don't forget your seatbelt. Make sure you did that first, right? And of course, you're in Japan, so be hella polite. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Let's go. 6 blue. Okay. All right. After about 3 to 6 times on average, you finally passed the driving test. Yay! You kept on going, and now you get to step in proudly into step 5. All right, we are at step 5. Time to collect that shiny card. You give in the paper that has the word succeeded nicely circled to the office. Then you wait. I honestly used this time to put on my makeup. Then I spent the rest of the time grinning to myself. Yay! Eventually, the officer came back out and told me the picture taking procedure and that I must ensure to check my address and my birth date when the license is printed. From there, he told me that my license would expire in 4 years' time, the month after my birthday. Then it will be renewed in 5-year intervals. He further went to say that I can renew my license 1 month before and 1 month after my birthday, and I must renew it within that period. Also, that I did not have to get a new driver sticker for my car. Finally, he reminded me to drive safely. Hai, arigatou gozaimashita. Alright, you can drive now. It was all worth it. Now, here's just a few of my personal tips to keep you sane in this whole process. Tip 1. Japan likes procedures. Learn them, follow them. Just ask how, not why. It doesn't help. Tip 2. Study before going. You are being tested on specific things, not whether you can drive. Don't take it personally. Tip 3. Praying to the kami couldn't hurt. Timing. Think about timing. Try not to pick a season like spring or summer. Stressed out workers are not very happy. Point of information. Spring has a lot of graduating high schoolers who are trying to get their driver's license as well. This will make them more marketable when they go for jobs, as well as just general freedom of movement having a driver's license. Tip 4. Just do your best and try not to hate yourself. In one of my tests, I did a rolling stop, which means after stopping at a stop sign, I did not wait the 3 whole seconds. While in that exam, the examiner was actually so upset with me that she paused the test and complained in Japanese and a little English that she was grossly upset with me not stopping properly at the stop sign. At the end of the exam, she told my supervisor about that, starting off with that nicely. And then she went on to say all the other good things that I actually did during the test and where I can improve on. So yeah, I missed the stop sign. That's on me. The time before, I was told I drove too slow and checked too carefully. It was raining at the time, but apparently I was overcautious. It hurt a little being a driver for over 10 years, but them's the breaks. By the time I went back in spring, on a sunny, beautiful day with cherry blossoms everywhere, I could tell the examiner was in an excellent mood. And bam! I passed. Owarimashita! I'm finished. I hope this video helps you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye! Whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my face. I do whatever it takes, 'cause I love how it feels when I break the chains. Whatever it takes. You take me to the top of many moons, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my face. I do what it takes.